Be sure to pre-order your copy of the Go-Go Offense by Coach Brennan Marion as he takes you through the ins and outs of the most explosive offense and most exciting offense in college football. You can find it on our website at footballgameplan.com/GoGoOffense. Welcome to Football Game Plan, where football makes sense. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the Playbook. Mike McCarthy is your producer today. It's the summertime and preseason is just around the corner in the NFL, and we'll get you ready for the upcoming 2019 NFL season as we preview the Carolina Panthers. Now, as we kick off the season preview, let us take a look at some of the key storylines heading into the season as we go into our 4-minute offense.
Over in Carolina, Cam Newton is the face of the franchise. Though he gets a lot of notoriety for his fashion statements off the field, his on-the-field play is of the utmost importance here in 2019. He'll be looking to return to his MVP form from 2015, where as league MVP, he had 4,500 plus total yards and 35 touchdowns in the air and 10 on the ground. That dominant quarterback is still in there, and if the Panthers want to go 15-1 again, they'll need Cam Newton to be at his best. Newcomer Bruce Irvin's got high expectations for the Panthers defense. In an interview with the Charlotte Observer, Irvin likened the Panthers defensive line to the Seattle front he played for until 2015. The defensive line Irvin played on for the Seahawks was dominant en route to the Super Bowl title in 2013. Can the Panthers front live up to Irvin's lofty expectations? The Panthers selected Will Grier in the 3rd round of the draft last April. It remains to be seen why they made that selection. In 2 years at West Virginia, Grier threw for just shy of 8,000 yards and had more than 20 passing touchdowns. But his height poses an interesting fit for his ability to fit into the Panthers' offense. He may be a good backup for Cam Newton, but the franchise quarterback has only missed 6 games in his entire career. Curtis Samuel emerged as a legitimate threat as a receiver last season. Starting 8 of 13 games, he caught 39 passes for 494 yards. Not gaudy numbers by any stretch, but he only caught 15 passes for 115 yards as a rookie. If he's going to help DJ Moore replace Devin Funchess, Samuel will need to step up big time.
It's time to put this team under the microscope and go position by position to see where they stand as we head into the 2019 season, and we'll start on the offensive side of the ball at the quarterback position. Cam Newton is back, and from all reports will be a full go come training camp and the regular season. Armed with a new throwing motion, look for Newton to get back to his stellar play the first half of last season when the Panthers were sitting at 6-2. It'll be key to see if he's able to maintain this new throwing motion throughout the season, as we all know that once live bullets start flying, players tend to revert back to what's comfortable for them and what they know. Newton is one of the NFL's stars and best quarterbacks and gives the Panthers a chance to go far anytime he's on the field. Backing him up, just in case, will be either Tyler Heineke or 3rd-round pick Will Grier out of West Virginia. My money is on Grier, as he has a lot of the Baker Mayfield type elements that you like within his game. I don't personally like the fit here in Carolina, as I think he should be fighting for a starting spot somewhere else. But if you're the Panthers, you're excited to have a QB of the caliber of Grier as potentially your QB2. Carolina has another star in the backfield. This one is at running back in Christian McCaffrey. He's this generation's Tiki Barber, as he's one of the more dangerous dual threat backs in the NFL. He went over 1,000 yards last year at 5 yards a carry and racked up nearly 900 yards receiving. It's not far-fetched to see him hit those numbers again this year, and the depth behind him got better this offseason with 2 rookies from the SEC and 5th-round pick Jordan Scarlett out of Florida and undrafted rookie free agent Elijah Holyfield out of Georgia. The rotation of these 2 backs behind McCaffrey should keep that ground game potent all season long. On the perimeter is where you could have some questions about this Panthers offense. 2nd-year player DJ Moore moves into the number 1 role within this offensive attack. Now, while talented, the jury is still out if Moore can be that guy for this team. They'll need him to be, because outside of Moore, you have Chris Hogan and Torrey Smith. They're at the stage of their career where spot roles are more conducive to them thriving. But speaking of thriving, the Panthers can potentially look toward Jarius Wright doing just that in the slot this year. And if Curtis Samuel can remain healthy for a full 16-game season, he gives them their most versatile weapon on the flanks, as he can be used in the backfield as well. I think there's an opportunity for 2 rookies on this team to make an impact in 7th-round pick Terry Godwin out of Georgia and undrafted rookie free agent Damian Jean-Pierre from Nichols. Both guys have that game-breaking speed and acceleration, and I think Godwin has a strong chance to make some noise in camp and in the preseason this upcoming summer. At tight end, Greg Olsen is back after mulling retirement and brings that security and leadership to the position. Olsen is still a very productive player and is trusted by Cam Newton. Now, this will be the year to see second-year player Ian Thomas out of Indiana take a significant step forward in his progression. He's expected to play more of a prominent role within this offense this year after showcasing more than enough ability in his 6 starts in 2018, hauling in 36 receptions for over 330 yards and 3 touchdowns. And veteran Chris Manhertz gives them a capable tight end number 3 within his offense. Along the offensive line, the Panthers get Darrell Williams back after going down in the first game of the season with an injury. His healthy return instantly makes them a better unit as a whole. He'll start at right tackle, in my opinion, next to Trey Turner, who's their best offensive lineman. Matt Paradis comes over from the Denver Broncos, where I thought he played some really good ball last season. Now on the left side, there are some options for the Panthers, and if second round pick Greg Little out of Ole Miss can prove during camp that he's ready to go from a skills perspective and handle the rigors of the NFL, he'll hold down that starting left tackle job, which will kick third-year player Taylor Moton inside at guard. And to me, that's the best and most ideal situation for the Panthers. And I think that would automatically make their offensive line a better unit in 2019. And I'm a big Tyler Lawson fan, as he provides some good depth for this unit, or provided some good depth for this unit over the course of his career here in Carolina, but the depth overall is still a work in progress. Now, here are my grades for the Panthers offensive units. The Panthers got better on the defensive line this offseason despite the loss of future Hall of Famer Julius Peppers. They added both Bruce Irvin and Gerald McCoy in free agency, and also drafted Brian Burns in the first round out of Florida State. Irvin has very good value as a situational edge rusher, while McCoy gives them a steady, consistent presence up front alongside the fantastic Kawan Short. The McCoy-Short duo is instantly the best in the NFC South, and Brian Burns still has a ton of upside and growth left within his game. Don't let his linear frame fool you. He's a very good point of attack player that's able to excel on both ends of defense. With Irvin potentially being a situational guy, look for players like Mario Addison, Marquise Haynes, and Brian Cox Jr. to play an even bigger role up front. Now, the team would also like to see former first-round pick defensive tackle Vernon Butler elevate his level of play this upcoming season. At linebacker, gone is longtime Panther Thomas Davis, which leaves a huge void on the outside. Now, the hope is that rookie fourth-round pick Christian Miller out of Alabama can handle that role. He has very good range and coverage skills, but can he be the impactful player versus the run as Davis was for a long time? At the other 2 backer spots, there are literally no questions at all, as Luke Kuechly continues to be one of the best in the game, and Shaq Thompson is the offensive coordinator's worst nightmare, as he's extremely versatile to match up versus backs, receivers, and some tight ends. Depth is a slight concern here and will be an area of focus this upcoming training camp. I do like Antoine Williams, though. He's got very good versatility, and I thought he was a really good prospect coming out of Georgia Southern a few years ago. Quietly, the Panthers secondary is a big-time strength on this football team. They got great play last year from their second-round pick Dante Jackson at corner. What was great to see from him was him converting on those many interception opportunities that he got last year. Now, Jackson led the team with 4 picks, and this was an area of concern of his coming out of LSU. James Bradbury played well also alongside him and looks to build on a solid 2018 season in hopes of securing a long-term deal. Now, the rising star of this unit, in my opinion, is third-year player Corn Elder. I've always been a fan of his game, his instincts, and his on-field leadership since his collegiate days at Miami. I will believe that he's slated to be their starting nickel corner. You also hope that Ross Cockrell is fully recovered from his injury last season, as he'll be a big boost to this unit, as would Kayvon Seymour. Now, the safety position is in good shape here as well. What a signing Eric Reed was for this team last year. He made an immediate impact for this defense and only figures to get better in his second year in Carolina. And free safety Rashawn Golden, while inconsistent, has the talent to be successful. The question is whether or not he can flatline his game to reach his potential. Keep an eye on Quinn Blanding to perhaps make a play for that role if Golden can't figure out his consistency. Now, here's how I grade out the defensive units for the Panthers. Quiet as kept, the Carolina Panthers have some really good personnel to be creative with on offense and have the potential to be explosive in that category this upcoming season with the health of Cam Newton. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here and how they can get a lot of their playmakers involved in this offensive attack. You see right here, 2 backs in the backfield, but one is Curtis Samuel, who can also serve in a role where he can get some carries. I love his versatility. They have Christian McCaffrey, who's a dynamic player, Greg Olsen. We're going to put DJ Moore on this side, and we're going to put Jarius Wright and his speed opposite on this side by himself, because we're going to take advantage of his speed to try to create a mismatch and get guys out of the way, get defenders out of the way. So backside, we're going to run him up, and he's going to go to the post. We want to try to take away a safety in the corner with him in his speed. You got to respect it if you're a defender. So what we're going to do here is fake this handoff to Christian McCaffrey with Cam Newton, and he can essentially be an outlet guy right here in the flat, give you a check down, swing Curtis Samuel around, belly him around as a swing guy. So now defenses will take notice of what he's doing. They're going to take notice of the fake. You can have your tight end work himself across the middle of the field, which is always a good thing. And right behind them is DJ Moore over the middle. So Cam Newton has numerous options. He can take the deep shot here, intermediate shot, quick shot to move the sticks and put the ball in the hands of a guy that's very good at the catch, or take a chance of a big play here, even though it's in the flat or in the swing area of the field where Curtis Samuel is doing his job as far as going out in the flat and taking some influence with him. Or if you want to have some success, you fake this handoff off here and bring Christian McCaffrey right there in the flat. You can now move Curtis Samuel up and down the hash, have DJ Moore break out to the corner. You can also have him break out to the corner as well, or take it straight up the field for a takeoff route. So there's a lot of different ways the Carolina Panthers can have some success this upcoming season with their offensive personnel. They got great talent. They have explosive playmakers, guys that work well with the ball or without the ball. And they always have the ultimate X factor in Cam Newton that makes it an 11-on-11 game. So I'm excited about what potentially could be on the field this upcoming season for Carolina. As long as Ron Rivera is in charge of the Carolina Panthers, they will always have a good defense. And I love what they have now on this roster as far as personnel is concerned, because they can get creative, they can match up, they can be versatile, and I'm going to show you how they can do so by applying pressure, but also being very protected on the back end. Again, I love their personnel. They drafted Brian Burns in the first round from Florida State. They have Bruce Irvin coming in. You also have Gerald McCoy they were able to sign, and Kawan Short is one of the better defensive tackles in the game. Eric Reed, Corn Elder, I'm a big fan of. Shaq Thompson, who's now going to play a more prominent role that Thomas Davis has moved on. Garrett Bradbury out there playing press. And Dante Jackson out here, the outstanding second-year corner. And Rashawn Golden, the free safety in this particular formation. So you see you have 4 down linemen, 1 backer essentially, and a strong safety, and 4 guys that can be considered cover guys, but you're still going to be good versus pressure. I'm sorry, I forgot one of the bigger names right here, Luke Kuechly. We're going to put him in the middle as well. So that gives us guys that can get out there and match up and play well on defense. You're good versus the run. You're also very good versus the pass. So I had to take Corn Elder out, or if I wanted to, I could put him back here as a safety. So we're going to have some success with this particular set. We're going to still be able to put Corn Elder out there on this side. I'm sorry, I put Ross Cockrell. I'm going to put 29 out there. And here's what I'm talking about. When you have guys that can apply pressure and cover, you're not worried about this guy here on the island. You're playing man coverage on the outside. He can play off man because he has the speed, reaction skills to drive on the football. And we saw last year that he also has the ability to catch those interceptions. That's something that wasn't on tape at LSU, but I'm glad he was able to find that asset and become a factor for this defense. So you can play him off man. You're going to play cover 1. So we're going to be manned up across, 1 safety back deep to help protect the range, the sideline. So we're playing 1 guy deep. We're going to work this guy over. As he walks over, he's crashing here. It's giving an illusion that he's going to be covered by a backer. He has to be happy, but he's shooting his gap as well, crashing inside. Elder is manned up versus the slot. We're going to send Kuechly here. And if this guy goes out in the route, he's going to abandon his blitz responsibilities and take him one-on-one. Eric Reed is manned up on the tight end. We're going to bring Irvin outside, bring McCoy here. And again, if he abandons his blitz responsibility, then we'll have McCoy shoot that A gap as well, manned up, like I said, on the outside. So you have the ability to get pressure. You also have the ability to cover. And these are some of the more athletic and versatile players that we've seen so far in this game. And I think when you have a guy like Luke Kuechly that can command the entire defense, a versatile guy in Shaq Thompson that has experience being out there in coverage. So if you wanted him to cover in the slot, he could. But you have guys that now can serve in that role. Corn Elder, Ross Cockrell. You can bring those guys in. You can even have Eric Reed serve as a pseudo cover guy if need be, or a blitzer. So I think the versatility and the talent level of the Panthers defense could arguably make them the best in the NFC South.
Carolina Panthers next up, Cam Newton. You might get lucky because people were scared about his arm. Cam Newton might end up falling like Andrew Luck did last year. I did the same thing. I got Andrew Luck in multiple leagues last year in the 9th and 10th round. You know why? People were scared. I'm always willing to take flyers on guys like this year. It would be Carson Wentz. It would be Cam Newton that fall to the 9th and 10th round. And you're like, wait, a guy who has the opportunity to be the number 1 overall quarterback, truly, and in this instance has been, and could fall to the 8th or 9th round. Yeah, I'm taking him. Christian McCaffrey, he's a top 3 pick, no matter the format. Top 3 pick, no matter the format. If you want to argue 4th, I don't agree, but all right. His backup's Jordan Scarlett, most likely. Not really much fantasy value here right now. DJ Moore, 1st round pick, so they'll probably try to force feed him the ball. He'll be the guy to look out for, and he's actually a pretty doggone good receiver. He's not a transitional player like Curtis Samuels, who's trying to transition more into being a full-time receiver instead of being a hybrid player, kind of like Percy Harvin was, or Dex McCluster was, or Curtis Samuel, like he was at Ohio State. So DJ Moore will be the guy that you want to grab. And then there's Greg Olsen. Again, some of these guys, they might not be the same guy they used to be, but it can be super helpful if people forget about him or say, oh, I don't want him, and all of a sudden Greg Olsen's in the 13th, 14th round. Yeah, that's when you want him. And the kicker, Graham Gano, needs to be mentioned because he boots the ball, kicked a 60-yard field goal last year, gets a lot of opportunity to score, so that's what you want.
Troy Anthony here, bringing you the best bets for the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers win line opens up at 7.5 games. The Panthers are a team that can go one season 6-10 and the next season making the playoffs. They really haven't had 2 bad seasons since they drafted Cam. At -121, I'm taking the over 7.5 wins. And then week 1 matchup, they're going to be against the Los Angeles Rams. At -110, I'm taking the over 52 points. We know that the Rams have a high-flying offense and could have put up the points. So can the Panthers. That's all for now. I'm Troy Anthony. Follow me on Twitter @FootballFandom, replacing the O's with zeros. I'm David Hatzek, and this is Huddle Up with Hatzek, and we're going to fire off some quick takes for the Carolina Panthers, starting with this year's breakout candidates. Emery, who do you like?
It has to be one on offense, DJ Moore. He's going to assume the number 1 receiver role this year, and he's going to have to live up to that 1st round billing and be the dynamic target for Cam Newton. Defensively, Corn Elder. This is a guy that I like coming out of when he was coming out of Miami. Good ball skills, good instincts. He's almost like a coach on the field, and I think he's going to have a really good year this season.
Who do you think the impact rookies are going to be for Carolina?
Underrated running back Jordan Scarlett out of Florida. I like his ability to be a good complement to Christian McCaffrey. We know they're going to move McCaffrey around, give him the bulk of the carries, but Scarlett has good anticipation, good burst, and good run power. So he's going to break a lot of tackles, going to have an opportunity to rip off yards and chunks. I think he's going to be a really good rookie for them. And Brian Burns, their 1st round pick, this was one guy that everyone had pegged for the Panthers in their mock draft. Yeah. It worked out for everybody. He goes to Carolina. He's going to have to replace, I don't want to say replace, but he's going to have to fill the role of Julius Peppers, the future Hall of Famer. He has an opportunity to do so. Thank God they added Gerald McCoy, because now they're going to take some of the pressure off Burns. He's going to see a lot more one-on-one, and he's going to thrive.
Who are the X factors this year for Carolina to be excited about?
Cam Newton. Healthy Cam Newton. Last year, they were 6-2. He was playing phenomenal ball. He hurt his shoulder, and we saw that tail off quickly. They went 2-6 down the stretch, or 1-7 down the stretch. They were really bad offensively when Cam Newton hurt his shoulder. So he's healthy, has a new throwing motion. That's always a good thing. And Rashawn Golden, I think they need him to step up and be a really good safety for Carolina and become a guy that can be a difference maker in the secondary.
Let's talk about some of the possible
training camp surprises this year for Carolina? Who do you like?
I think people are going to remember how good of a prospect Greg Little was coming out of Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Highly touted high school recruit. He has an opportunity to probably see time as a starter at tackle or maybe even as a guard. Ole Miss threw the football a lot, so he has good opportunity, good experience in pass pro. I think he's going to be a really good player. And on defense, Marquise Haynes, whom they drafted last year out of Ole Miss, I don't think people, remember how good of a player he was. We didn't see a lot of him last year. I think he's going to get back into that groove, and they're going to, start to talk about him more as training camp moves on.
More reason for optimism or concern this year for the Panthers, do you think?
Well, you have both because, a healthy Cam Newton, they were 6-2.
Right.
And they were looking at, to be a team that could make a serious run in the playoffs. So health-wise, they have the offense. They got a lot of dynamic playmakers. Defensively, they're going to find a way. With Ron Rivera, they're going to find a way to be good defensively, even without a guy like Thomas Davis on the team now. Cause for concern, defensively, if Brian Burns takes a while to get acclimated and can't get that pass rush going off the edge, or if on offense, if they don't have the dynamic passing game, if DJ Moore can't be the difference maker and teams really start to key on stopping Christian McCaffrey, that could be a problem for Carolina. Emery Hunt, the czar of the Playbook here, and joining me now is fellow football game plan analyst Troy Anthony for this 4 Downs with the Czar segment, continuing our preview of the Carolina Panthers as we take a look at the road to the Super Bowl for the Panthers, starting with number 1 Superman Cam Newton. If he can revert back to first half of last year, Cam Newton, this team is going to be fine. They were 6-2. He's playing lights out. Then he hurt his shoulder, and you literally saw his passes die as far as trying to go outside. It looked bad, and they really limped to the end of the season. But if he can revert back to that form with health and supposedly a new throwing motion, which I don't buy because you're just going to, once the game is on, you're going to go back to which was comfortable to you. But if he's healthy and gets back to playing like the 6-2 Cam we saw last year, this Panthers team really has enough offensive weapons to cause some problems.
Yeah, they need Cam Newton to come back to full health. I remember last season seeing him throw the ball. It just didn't look like natural Cam. It seemed as though he changed his throwing motion because of the pain. But for them to get for the offense truly to be productive, they're going to need Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen is Cam's safety blanket. His clutch for Cam. Whenever Cam feels any pressure and he's not about to use his leg, he goes to Greg Olsen all the time. I need Greg Olsen to not only stay healthy, but I need 1 or 2 wide receivers to come and stand out. DJ Moore coming into his second year. I like what he was doing towards the end of last year. I just need him to continue that. He's a burner. He can take you up top. Not only can he take you up top, he'll take that slant to the house. But I need at least 1 more receiver to come in and start producing.
When you talk about those young cornerstones, like Moore coming back in his second season and really being a premier option, you also look at Curtis Samuel. You also look at Dante Jackson out there on the corner. You also look at Cornell, maybe he could be that slot corner. Brian Burns, a rookie out of Florida State. If these young cornerstones can step up and grow up this year, some rookies, some second-year players, but you look at these people that they're bringing in this year and some of the guys that they had last year, they need to step up and play big-time grown-up ball. Can we get Christian McCaffrey to really break out and break through? He was great last year. Now they're going to need him to be spectacular. And again, if everyone around Cam Newton can be great, again, there's no Devin Funchess. So if everyone around Newton can grow up and be great, it makes his job easier because, he tends to rise to the occasion as well. The offensive line, the young pieces they added in certain spots, can they grow up and be significant assets and not liability? So they're going to need those young cornerstones to step up this year and join the party with Cam Newton.
That comes down to leadership as well. You mentioned Thomas Davis is gone. He was a huge leader for that, not only that defense, but that team. They still have Kuechly, but he's getting up there. I would assume that they're going to be losing him within the next few years. They need some of these young guys to come up and take initiative to demand more out of other players, to demand greatness each and every week to get them to the playoffs and further.
Well, we've seen Cam Newton take a team that had Jericho Cottrell at wide receiver to the Super Bowl. So this is probably his most talented offense that he's been on. You talk about from the backfield, you talk about from the perimeter, tight end, even the offensive line looked to be better last season. And defensively, if they can get up to speed and continue to be that Panthers defense, the Panthers can get back to what we've seen them do before, and that's the Super Bowl. I have the Panthers finishing second in the NFC South. This is a really good football team that'll be able to run the ball and play excellent defense. If the passing game, with the consistent health of Cam Newton and the growth of the receiving core, can get up to speed quickly, they could win the division. So Carolina is a serious playoff contender in 2019. For this season preview, I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the Playbook. Be sure to follow me on all of our social media accounts, and don't forget to check out and subscribe to Football Game Plan Podcast on iTunes, where you can find our NFL All 32 podcasts, our fantasy football starting lineup, as well as our Scout Team podcast, and leave us a 5-star rating. Also, subscribe to the Football Game Plan Network, located at youtube.com/footballgameplan. Finally, every Thursday and Friday evening at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, be sure to check out the Football Game Plan show on the Game Plus Network. Check with your cable provider for channel listings.